Last week, Lessort had such a massive tactical relapse with Dom Rosso, I'm almost certain he fell asleep in his plate carrier that night in a drunken slumber from all of the tack reloads, head scans, and urban prone offhand shooting he did. However, some of you were less concerned about Lessort's tactical pirouette and more impressed with the car he drove home in. Like Bob E, who wanted to know, what model Porsche is that? It's pretty nice. I have to give it to Lessort. It is a nice car. And to answer your question, it's a 997 Porsche 911 Turbo. Lessort loves that thing, and I would too if I finally got my dream car after 14 years of working my ass off. Now, some of you were completely unimpressed with the clothes I wore, like In the Low Country, who put it simply, that shirt is hideous. How do you really feel? Please forgive me, fashion gods, for not being a flawlessly dressed fashionista on every episode. But if I'm gonna be honest about it, he's right. That shirt looked horrible. But I'm glad I wore it because it showed me who my true friends are. Because clearly, Amy, Lessort, and Katie weren't my friend enough to tell me I look like a chocolate-covered candy cane. On to a more serious matter. Last week I posted this tweet in response to the Canadian shooting. But in typical I'm not trolling, but I am trolling fashion, the Twitter account Second Perspectives tweeted, Vickers was a sergeant at arms doing his job, not a random guy toting a gun waiting for a chance to save the day. Well, let's see. You have Kenneth Bird, age 67, who shot 3 out of 3 intruders trying to rape his daughter. Then you have Nick Melly, who drew his gun on Jacob Roberts in the Oregon Mall, who had just killed people, forcing him to retreat. Then there's Kim Lanphier, who was saved at a train station during an armed robbery by another woman concealing a Glock. There's Jenny O'Donnell, the owner of a bar, whose employees were saved by a patron who shot 1 of 4 armed robbers trying to rob her bar, forcing the other 3 to flee. Yeah, nothing to see here, just a bunch of regular people saving lives with guns. Carry on. Tommy Horn from Facebook says, I see you guys shooting M&P 1522s all of the time, and I love mine. Any thoughts on the HK 416-22? Thinking of picking one up. Well, Tommy, funny you ask. When I went to buy my M&P 1522, I had a hard time choosing between the HK 416-22 and the M&P 1522. I'm an HK fan, but for the first time, I felt the HK was unnecessarily over-engineered for a 22 long rifle, thus rendering the gun a little lifeless. That's just my fancy way of saying the M&P 1522 was cheaper and just as reliable and fun, if not more so, which is why I was buying the gun in the first place. Before I send you off to our preview for this week's episode, I want to remind those of you looking for gun and gear reviews to visit NRA Sharp Daily at nrasharp.com, where Lessort and I talk about our favorite products on a weekly basis. Keep the feedback coming, and I'll see you tonight on NRA Freestyle.tv.
Tonight on Noir, we talk business with retired NFL player Andrew Klein. The Springfield XDM is almost too good a gun, and I have a minute to make up in Stage 9 of the challenge.